Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is February 7th, 2022. I am Sally Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Welcome, Frankie. You are number one. And welcome, Petty Deb. You are number two. I hope everyone is having a good Monday. It's a pretty nice day here in Southern California. The sun is out and the weather is warm. Okay, we are going to get started here. So let me stop the music. Okay, so today we are going to talk about luck versus fate. What is the difference? Are people lucky or did fate intervene? Is fate something that happens in certain situations or does luck play a part? What do you think? So, when you look up online, luck and fate, people think that is different things. Some people say that luck is something that happens to someone by chance, while fate is predetermined. It's divine will or another force. Let's say when if you go to Las Vegas or Atlantic City and you gamble and you're playing the slot machines and you win. Is that luck because it happened by chance? Or is it fate because it was predetermined? I mean, was it fate that you happened to walk into that casino and play the slots? Were you fated to win? Or were you just lucky? If you win the lotto or Powerball, your spouse that you're married to. Some people say, "Oh, I'm the luckiest person, in the world. I'm married to the, greatest man. I'm married to, the greatest woman." Or my parents, I'm so lucky. I have really great parents. Is it luck or is it fate? So those are my questions today. And if anybody would like to jump on and give me their opinion, I would appreciate it. Or if not, we sit back and listen because I have a couple other things that I can say. Also, fate, the definition of fate, the development of events beyond a person's control, regarded as determined by a supernatural power. Wow. So, is fate something that's supernatural? I mean, do we want to go to that extent and say that fate, is guided by a supernatural power? And for luck, definition, success or failure apparently brought by chance rather than one's own actions. So again, we go back to if you were at the casino or if you played the lotto, or if you happen to when Oprah partnered with Pontiac, the year that you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Was it fate that brought people to that show that day? And I know that people were they get their tickets in advance and everything like that, but were you fated to be at that show? Or was it just luck? Was it just luck that you got a car that you had to pay taxes on? you know, But was that late? I'm sorry, was it fate or was it luck? You know, what is another example of luck? You know, when something good starts happening to someone, and that could be anything. Again, I can go back to winning the lotto, or whatever. Welcome, Mimi. I can talk about winning the lotto, whatever. But again, um, some people see luck as success or failure, apparently brought by chance rather than one's own actions. Okay, and since Mimi just came in, I'm going to do the definition of fate: the development of events beyond a person's control, regarded as determined by a supernatural power. And so, again, you guys, not a problem. So, Mimi, I'm going to invite you in before you have to leave for work. If you want to just add something on luck versus fate, if you want. And Petty Deb, if you want to come on. And Frankie, I understand your situation and always available in the chat. Hey, Mimi, what's up, girl?
Hey, honey, how you doing?
I am good. I am good.
So you said luck versus fate. So what is the question?
Well, I mean, what is the difference? Are people lucky or is it fate? I mean, when you win the lotto, is that luck or is it fate? When
I
people
believe
say, I'm
it's
sorry, go ahead.
fate. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I believe it's fate. I believe that everything happens for a reason. I don't believe it's just, oh, you just got lucky. That was meant for it to happen. Whether it's winning the lottery, getting a job, whatever it is, it's meant for that to happen. Even when bad things happen in your life, I believe that it's meant for that to happen. For you to
So,
go through those challenges in order to get to something better.
so are you saying that there's no such thing as luck then?
Um, I really don't believe there's no such thing as luck. No.
Okay, well then, why do some, and I'm saying men and women, welcome Bahram. Why do some men and some women consistently seem to date the bad boys or the bad girls, and then some people consistently seem to just date these really great people? So, are you saying that someone's always fated to date someone that's bad for them, or someone's always fated to date or marry someone that's just really great?
I believe that you're going to continue to date the wrong person until you get that lesson.
So
So,
again, then you don't believe in luck.
no, I believe that when you continue to date the wrong person, is because you didn't get that lesson out of the last person. So you're going to continue to go through those bad people in order to get to the right person, until you learn your lesson.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question because I know you have to go, but so that teacher that you have in school, your daughter, let's say she's in second grade, and you have two teachers. You have one second grade teacher that is absolutely the bomb, everybody wants her. The other teacher, not so much. So when you get the teaching assignment for the school year, you find out that you have the teacher that's not so great. So were the other people just lucky that they got that other teacher, and you were fated to get the teacher that wasn't great?
No, I believe that they were fated as well. They got that teacher. Maybe they had that not so good teacher last year, or years before, or years to come. Or that's not in their plan. That's not in their lesson. Their lesson may come later down the line. Everybody have a different lesson for them. You know what I mean? So I may need that teacher that's going to be on my ass, throughout the day because of my learning skills. I think that, it works different ways.
Okay, but what if that teacher, when I say the teacher is not that great, I'm not saying that the teacher's hard. I'm talking the fact that she's just not a good teacher. I mean, there's just some teachers out there that just are not good teachers. So you're saying that someone is fated just to have a teacher that probably should not be teaching?
Yeah, I mean, because then you're still getting a lesson out of that. You're still getting a lesson. You see, when things happen to you, whether it's good or bad, you get a lesson, a blessing, or both. So you still getting a lesson out of that. Okay, that teacher, she doesn't really know what she's doing. And now you have to push yourself to learn on your own. You know what I mean? So that becomes a lesson for you.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with the luck doesn't play a part in our lives. So when you win the lotto, you're saying that that was predetermined, that you
Yeah,
were
I believe.
supposed. So it wasn't just chance.
No, I believe because some people that win the lottery, they win the lottery and um, they it's for them. What's for you is going to be for you. You know what I mean? It's not going to. I just don't believe that it was you just got lucky and you won the lottery. Some people play numbers, and that excuse me, those numbers have come to you some way or another in your life. Those numbers have, played a part in your life some way. So it really wasn't luck.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot, and then I'm going to let you go because I know you're on your way to work. So, Mimi, you have a successful podcast. At least I think you have a successful podcast.
Okay.
Um, would you say that that's luck or that's fate?
I will say that that's fate. I would say that that's fate because it comes with hard work. I just didn't get lucky and get people right off the bat. I My personality has gained those people. You know what I mean? My personality has drawn people in. I didn't just get lucky and say, "Oop, okay, I'm doing this topic and I got all of these people." No, it took hard work, it took dedication. And that's I when I first started podcasting, I didn't it just came to me out of nowhere. Um and I believe that that was for a reason, to help
Okay.
me grow as well, because some people um come and they think that I'm helping them. They also help me as well. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
um I broke down on my podcast like not too long ago and I was going through some things and they helped me get through it. You guys helped me get through that. So I don't believe that was just, oh, I got lucky, y'all helping me. I think that was fate. I think I met some people in there based off of fate. I was supposed to meet those people to take me to the next.
Okay. All right. Well, Mimi, thank you for hanging out before you go to work. I appreciate it.
Alrighty, I'm going back in. I get off at 5. I think you'll be finished by then.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Hey, crazy lady and Bahram, and welcome, shy lady. Formal welcomes. So, crazy lady, we're talking about luck versus fate. And if you heard any of that, I think you came in towards the very end. But Mimi was saying that she does not believe in luck. She thinks that everything is fate. And I will repeat the definitions for you guys. Fate, the development of events beyond a person's control, regarded as determined by a supernatural power. And the definition of luck, success or failure apparently brought by chance rather than one's own actions. So, crazy lady, I will start with you. What do you think?
Um, I believe in both. There is, I do believe that each of us have our destiny, and there's like certain things, there's certain paths that like certain people's paths that you cross, that is predetermined. But I also believe in luck, like um, flipping a coin, uh, that kind of luck. you know?
Oh, okay, okay. Well, Mimi also said she also welcome Chill Will. Mimi also just said that she doesn't believe in luck because things are predetermined for you. You know that this is what is supposed to happen. That there's all if things are not if negative things happen to you, then it was supposed to happen to you because there was a lesson there that you're supposed to get this lesson. So, crazy lady, do you think that, or do you think she's right?
Yeah, you know, yeah, because I mean, sometimes bad things happen because of your actions, or yeah, a lesson learned. Every bad thing that happened to me, I really did learn a valuable lesson, or um, maybe a feeling that I didn't have before. And you know, that's in everything. That's even in my child's death, I learned a huge. Well, okay, I learned more than one lesson, and you know, it is part of my destiny. It's part. Everything is. It certain things are part of your destiny.
Okay, now Charlene says, "I agree with Mimi. I don't believe in luck." But then, and this is for everybody listening. If you guys want to answer this question for me, because again, Mimi said that it was fate. You have a teacher, your kid's going to school, whatever, and you have the one teacher that everybody wants. This teacher is so great. I mean, just a really good teacher. Then you have the teacher that's not that great. I'm not saying that she's not a hard ass or anything. She's just not a good teacher. It's like your child is not going to learn that much with this teacher. And when you get the teacher assignments for the year, you have the teacher that's not so great. So were the other people just lucky, or was it fate? So you're going to tell me that there was no luck there? I mean, luck is chance. When you play the lotto, when go to Vegas or Atlantic City, and you're playing the slots, it is chance. It's like one of seven chances that you'll win this. Luck does exist. So you're going to tell me that your child was fated to have this not so great teacher because I mean luck played nothing in that. um I will go to Bahram. Thank you for waiting patiently. So Bahram, what do you think?
This is well out of my ballpark. I'm not really good with these kind of things, but if I'm gonna make a claim right now and listen to you guys talk, and maybe my opinion will change, but right now I'm listening and I'm thinking I don't believe in either or, because I think it's like romanticizing it as if, or like the one that comes into my mind is like when you're with someone that you love, it's like, well, if we didn't meet that day, if I didn't go out for that pint of milk and you didn't go out for the newspaper, we wouldn't have met in that shop and exchanged looks and all that. It's like, but the chances of that happening were going to happen one day, or maybe happen before. I think it's just something that people like to say, that there's fate and that there's luck, because at the same time, whether it's like the other one I'm thinking about is like if you're in a casino and your luck is in, at the same time your luck is in, someone else's luck isn't in, and it's not their day. So it's just probability of happening.
Okay, all right. I will go to Shy Lady. Shy Lady, what do you think?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Shy
Um,
Lady.
like I said before, I agree uh, with Mimi. I don't really think there is a such thing as luck. I believe fate determines everybody's where they're going. I think everything is predetermined, already planned out. I just believe that. Do I believe a lottery is luck? No, I don't believe lottery is luck either. So many people play the lottery And I think that if you get that number, then it was fate. That's just me. And I think sometimes, I think the definition you had said about luck being, can you repeat it for me so I can make sure
Hmm.
that,
Success or failure apparently brought by chance rather than through one's own actions.
well, again, based on that, if you play the lottery, that's based on an action that you have taken. So that's why I say I don't really believe in luck, because if you get that number, that lucky number as they call it, I think it was meant for you to get it, and no other person. So that's just my thing on it.
Okay, but you also said that so many people play the lottery. So wouldn't it be like one in a million or whatever, 1 in 2 million that you're going to hit that number?
Again, I think whoever gets it, because I think recently the last Powerball or something, only one person. Sometimes there are multiple winners, but I think the last one that they had, it was only one person that got all the numbers. And sometimes the people that win just do scratch offs. It's not even numbers that they contrived or came up with. So I just think that it was fate that allowed it to happen.
Okay, all right. Jill, welcome. So, what do you think?
Hey everybody. I think this is a complex ideal. Like I know we kind of talking, seem like we talking tongue in cheek, but this whole ideal, this is what a lot of religious things are based upon. This is like a degree of contemplating where life comes from almost. How does it operate? It's a higher level of consciousness to even think in some of these spaces for this question will send you to. It's the chicken before the egg, or the egg, you know what I'm saying, before the chicken type of question. And to say everything is fate is fine. Like you said, like really technically, statistically, you could say I played the number and it was 1 in 1 millionth chance that I won it, but technically it's not really because I won it. And so I was the only one that's going to win it. It was going to be this number. I had that number. It was a lock that I would win it. You know what I'm saying? Technically, like you could say that. Like maybe you can make some statistics up, but at the end of the day, whether if this is going to be the number, I was the one going to be winning it. You know what I mean? So it's really not a 1 in 100 million chance. It was only one chance because I had the right number. So I mean, it can be seen so many different ways. And typically, people who who believe in fate will be that's attached to religious beliefs, and I can't disagree with that. But I also can say a lot of times when you attach to your religious beliefs, you also know there's a thing called choice and will. And if I were just to sit on the couch every day, is that just fate? Was it that was my, what it was me being am I doomed to someone that has a rough life to be a hard lesson to others? You know what I mean? If my life is a hard lesson, if I've been molested or went through tragedies, or is that a hard lesson to others, for others? Is that my fate? And which it could be. Life could be just that kind of morbid to some degree, which is not and it could be. Hey, could I be an inspiration? That's the yin and yang of it. So that is a great question. I don't think that you can really answer, and that takes some thought processes, and then it's just your belief system. Because I to some degree, I can agree with a lot of that, but I'm like, man, you still can make choices. People can change. You can be one way when your entire life, and then an event happens, and you can change. And they can say, well, that's fate. That's how it is. You're predetermined. But, so every decision I make, I just shouldn't worry about it. I just hey, whatever. Just do whatever I feel, because it was fate. So I don't know.
Well, Jill, then let me ask this, and I'm asking everyone, people who are on the mic and people who are just listening, if you guys want to chat and answer. So you're born And unfortunately, you're born to parents who are not so nice. They're, just mean. They hit you, they beat you, whatever. Meanwhile, your friend across the street, he or she has this loving home where, mom and dad are constantly saying, I love you. And, you just see the warmth and everything in that home. So do you think that, that you were fated to have these parents, or were you just unlucky? And, is that fate?
Well, it come from my parents, so that'd be like that's purposeful. So I mean, I wouldn't be
Okay.
here without that.
Okay.
But that's to some degree. You got different tadpoles up in there though too. You know what I'm saying? Because zillion million tadpoles are swimming around there. You know what I'm saying? I made it. So to some degree, I think is it a mix of both? You know what I mean? To some type of hybrid of both, maybe. I don't know if it can be one or the other. Like I'm kind of like Byram. I'll have to do more really contemplating on this subject to figure some things out. That would
Okay.
make sense because it doesn't. It seems like you should. It's just fate, but maybe not to some degree because
All right. Well, I'm gonna pass the mic to Crazy Lady, but while I'm passing the mic, I'm throwing out another one for you guys. Is there a difference between fate and destiny? And Crazy Lady, I'll go to you. Fate and destiny. Welcome, Juju, and a formal welcome to Nancy. So, is there a difference between fate and destiny? Is Crazy Lady on, or is she still with Ross? Okay, I'm gonna pass the mic to Byram. Fate and destiny.
Do you have the definitions up? Because I'm actually not quite sure.
Yes, and I will type this one in too. Destiny. The events that will necessarily happen to a particular person or thing in the future. And I will put that in, the events that will
Okay.
necessarily happen to a particular person or thing in the future.
Yeah. See, I'm maybe just repeating myself, but I think it's just life. I think these words, again, someone can come in and maybe correct me, but I think these words, fate, destiny, luck, are just romanticizing. They're just words that we use to maybe put a little likable spin on things that happen. I'm just trying to think of examples, and the one that springs to my mind is like my football team, Celtic. They had a captain back in the 60s, and his number was 5, and everyone loved him. And he died last year. And on the day that they remembered him on the pitch, Celtic won 1-0, and it was number 5 that scored the goal. And it's like, oh, it was just meant to be. It was just destiny or fate or luck. And I'm just like, if that guy hadn't died that day or whatever, I think he would have still scored. I think the lottery numbers would still be the same if we put them on or not. If we rolled the ball in the roulette and it came on our number, regardless whether we were even in that casino that night, that ball was always going to land on that number on that spin. So when these things do happen, we just, a lot of people just like to say, oh, it was fate that happened, or it was some sort of like paranormal or some energy that made it happen. Whereas I just think it was just going to happen anyway. And I don't think there is a term for that. These terms are good to use on them because they're maybe unexplainable or they're just life. But I just don't see. I'm not fully on board with any of these terms. Sorry.
Okay, no, this is not a problem. That's what you think. All right, passing the mic to Shy Lady. So, what do you think?
The question was, do I believe in fate or destiny? Are they one and the same?
Is destiny and fate the same thing? Are they different?
I believe they're probably the same. I believe that they are.
So, considering that destiny is supposed to something that happens in the future, and fate is supposed to be predetermined. So, do you think that fate, and again, Balaram says he doesn't like using these terms, but do you think that fate kind of overrules everything, that everything is predetermined? Like Mimi said, she thinks that everything happens for a reason, and I do believe everything happens for a reason. But I also believe that there is, something called luck. So
I think that I think your life is predetermined. I believe because, like Sheil was saying, you get into. I don't like to use the term religion because I'm not really a religious person, but I would consider myself a spiritual person, not necessarily religious, because religious can go a whole different type of ways. But anyway, I think that God allowed everyone choices, and based on the choices, He already know what you're going to do, but He allowed choices. Just like I think I had used on one show, I think we were kind of talking about coincidences and faith, and I had said if you follow the Bible or if you even believe in it, you know that in the beginning that God gave Adam and Eve a choice, and He laid it out and said, "Don't eat of the tree of the forbidden fruit, because this is the tree of knowledge. And if you eat of this tree, then you'll be on my level. You'll be like me. So don't eat of this tree." But she allowed the serpent to convince her that she would be like God. So she ate of that tree, and then she gave the apple to Adam and said, taste this. And he knew better, but he did it anyway. It was his choice. He could have said no. Then the whole world would be a different outcome. But God gave him that choice, knowing what he was going to do. But like I said, she could have said no, and he could have said no. But according to the Bible, they both said yes, and their fate was determined. And so the whole world's fate has been determined, that none of us are going to live forever on earth. We're all going to die. Every child that's born today is eventually going to die on earth. But if you believe in heaven, then everybody's going to live eternally.
Okay, I have a point to make on something that you said, but Chill, I'm gonna pass the mic to you. You want to comment on what Bahram or Shy Lady said?
So for me, I think that fate, and you said fate and destiny. I mean, I feel like that's a redundancy. I mean, I don't think there's no difference from the time. I mean, you can call it whatever, but it's the same difference. You can call it predetermined. Like destiny, if it's your destiny, that's predetermined. It's not just because it happens in the future. Fate can happen in the future too. Like that, if it's your fate to do something, if your destiny to do the same thing, it's your fate. You know that's predetermined. If it's my destiny to do something, I'm living in the before. I mean, you could be explaining it, hey, it was in the past tense, future tense. Is it still saying, hey, this is preset. This is what it is. This is what you were meant for. All the same lingo. So I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, Shy Lady said, in terms of how this world is, and considering how the world is right now, which is probably just about a mess. Has that just? I mean, if you think about what Shy Lady said, it's because of Adam and Eve. But is everything predetermined? I mean, is the world just going to end in just a negative way? I mean, are we just fated or destined to be on a path of destruction?
Okay, so this is quick. Like this. I guess this is what I was trying to also delve into without going too far. But what's negative and what's positive is the question. When you're looking from a holistic standpoint, if it's a learning, if you can learn from everything, what's negative and what's really positive? What humans make things negative. I can make the word, the N word negative. I can make the B word negative, or I can make the N word positive, endurement. So it's I can make the situation, me living in the hut on the side of a beautiful river, with no electricity. That could be considered negative. But then it come up, some other person, they say, hey, that's wonderful. I'm amongst the earth, amongst the beauty of the whatever. So that's a subjective. That's so subjective as what's negative, what's positive. Especially when if it's in terms of just like learning. Oh yeah, it can be, and anything can be turned positive or negative.
I'm gonna have to disagree with a couple of things you said, but I'm pretty sure you probably know which ones. But I'm gonna pass the mic to Bahram. What do you think?
So sorry, go on. Can you repeat the question or? Yeah.
No, we were talking. Well, you already answered about destiny, and
Yeah.
So do you have anything to say to
Oh yeah.
what Shy Lady or Chill Will
Yeah.
said?
Yeah. What I was going to say is, so do any of you guys believe that there is a force or something pushing us in a direction in our lives? Because I think that's where these terms could be maybe justified in my view. I think the only thing I can think of is like your subconsciousness or your consciousness. If you decide to do something that day and then a bonus happens that day where you meet someone or something good happens or bad, it was all, constructed from that initial decision that you made that day. And to me, like I said, I'll go back and say it again. It's like these terms are just romanticized. It's like we are in control of our own lives to a certain degree. In fact, I would say 90%. The other 10% I leave to, media and things giving us maybe subconscious feelings, and that might control some of our decisions. But ultimately, we have to make that choice and make our own destiny or fate or luck. We make our own. These three terms, we make them. Or we don't. I don't know. It's a hard one, but I'll pass it on and ask, if anyone believes that there is anything other than those things I mentioned that's kind of forcing us or doing, making these decisions for us.
Well, Bahram, I personally think that we play a huge hand in how life goes. I think that right now you have people who are out there. I mean, even me, just by me doing this show and what have you. I think that we humans are the driving force of a lot of things, and we can either listen to someone or we can not listen to someone. We can either listen to this group or not listen to this group or whomever. Your mother can tell you to do something, and again it comes back to free will and choice. You can not do what your mom says, and you can either get in trouble or your mom was wrong. I think that we have a lot to say in how things happen, or how things end up. Shy Lady, I'm gonna pass the mic to you. You want to say anything what Chill said or what Bahram said?
They said a whole lot, but they did.
Everybody always says a whole lot on this show.
Right.
You got to keep up.
But again, I do believe that, everybody have choices. And I do agree a lot with Bahram when he said probably 90% of probably 90% of the time we do kind of control our what's happening to us because we make those choices. Like when we go out, we have a choice. If we drive, we have a choice. Either we gonna drive or we don't. But when we get out there, there's always a risk of having an accident. There's a risk of not making it back home. There's a risk of dying. So we are allowed choices, but do we know when we go out there what's going to happen to us? We don't know. And I think the fact that we don't know and we may not make it back, that's our fate or our destiny, shall I say.
Okay. Chill. You have the mic. You there, Chill? Your mic is going on and off. You there? Okay, we just lost Chill. Okay, so hold on, he's coming back.
Yeah, my bad. I get calls, and then when I get a call, it'll mess with the mic, so it doesn't pick up anymore.
Okay. Well, you have the mic now.
Yeah, it makes my brain hurt. This topic, that's to some degree, like it's really a transcending subject that because how if it's predetermined and we're making choices, it's kind of like oxymoron. You know what I'm saying? It's a complete you can't be predetermined and then we making choices. No, if the outcome of the game is already predetermined, then how we make choices to win the game?
Okay, so
we make is it's going to be in lieu, even whether it looks good or bad. It's going to be lieu to do one thing. You know, so it can be predetermined upon those choices you make, which is fine, but that's a hybrid of itself. So it's typically hard to do both in its essence, you know.
So do you think that again, I go back to our parents. You know, some of us have, you know, great parents, and some of us have not so great parents, and some of us have parents that, you know, just bottom line just should not be parents. So again, is that fate or was that destiny?
What you said? What about parents? So, yeah, some of us have what?
Some of us have great parents. Some of us have, you know, not so great parents, and some of us have parents that should not be parents at all. Is that fate or is that destiny or?
It's okay. You can have great parents or bad parents, but the great parents and bad parents have created great people or great outcomes in people. So I don't know if it's a bad. What is great is what my point is. It becomes a subjective thing. So when you're looking at it in certain aspects, it's not about great or you're making it bad or good or negative or, you know what I'm saying. What's great is it maybe if I'd have had bad parents, I might have been better in life. I might achieve more technically in the human standards. I might have been more pushed to do more things, to appreciate more things, and maybe I might have fell victim to bad things. Who knows? But that's what makes you think maybe your person is predetermined. Like if you're just going to be resilient, you're going to be resilient. Maybe it's not necessarily towards out events. Maybe you know, I don't know, your person. I'm telling you, like if I was to go through and try to break it down, it'd be kind of what happening in my brain right now is it's crazy, but it's not easy. It's not an easy answer. It's not an easy subject to talk about. I promise you, if I could let you in, and I can't really explain it like I want to now, but I don't think that, you know, you can have good parents. I know plenty of people have good parents that end up first week of school in college, they cracked out or they ran through. Military, had great parents. You get a military, they ran through, you know, become the biggest, you know, thing. And then the other people who that they've been through life, they come and they've been so much about 16. They're grown up by the time they're 21. They're handling business. They're out there messed up, you know. So I don't know what good and bad parents even. What does that even mean? You know, is a good situation. It was a good situation for this person. They had bad parents. If they didn't have bad parents, they might have not been the person they are today. So it's weird.
Okay, all right. Bahram, you have the mic.
I don't know. I think I should just pass the mic because I think I'm still stuck on the whole. It's just life. This isn't a really good one for me because I'm the least spiritual type person you could ever meet. I'm not, you know, into energy and all that stuff. And for me, it's just life. It's a shame that some people are dealt bad hands and some are dealt good, but it's just life. I don't like using these terms, so I'll pass the mic.
Well, hold on, Bahram. I'm not going to let you off that easy because you just said something. So is life okay? And you guys try to follow me here because I'm gonna try to follow myself. Is life destiny? Is life fate? When we are born, is life? I mean, is that the definition of life? Is life our destiny or our fates or our, whatever. Is that what life is?
Yeah, I think where maybe I'm getting muddled up is when you say these terms, I think it sounds like there is a secondary hand. Like I say, when I'm listening to Shy Lady, I've heard that, before. I think it was Shy Lady on a previous show, but I've also heard it from other religious people. When you believe in God, you believe that he knows, he's all knowing and all loving, and he has a say on your life. He knows what's going to happen, and we don't. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm not against religion, and I'm not. I believe in a creator, so I'm not knocking that idea. But I'm certainly not of the opinion that there is a plan for us. That is the plan that we're going to take, and what will be. In in his eyes, he knows that from birth what kind of life we're going to have, or anything else, let alone God knows. I think it's just the decisions we make, and the probability, the percentage of that happening on a day that we decide to go out. These things are probable, these things aren't. And I'm just maybe a bit, it's nice to think that there is things like that, but for me it's just us making the decisions.
Okay. All right. Shy Lady? Shy Lady, you there?
I'm sorry, I am, but I was listening so long that I had to type in my code again.
Oh, okay. Keep tap. Sometimes you can just tap your screen and it'll, reboot or whatever. But okay, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I think that it's so complex because, I mean, like I can see where Bariam is, it kind of like betwixt, so to speak, because I often question why some things happen to people that are seemingly good, or you just don't know why. Like for instance, sometimes when children are born, for whatever reason, they might be in the world a week or two and they die. So in my mind, I wonder why were they born? If they were going to die in a week or two, or sometimes they're produced and they may die in the delivery room. And so I wonder, like, why does that happen? So it's very, very complex, and it's just so many questions that I have myself, and I wonder why some people who are seemingly bad, who do things not even just on a basis of killing, but people who like steal or embezzle money and appear to be living a certain lifestyle, and yet they got that money through scheming and cheating. People that are on Wall Street, things like that. So it's like that's wrong to steal, but yet this person is seemingly living a good life. So it's like, how do you explain that there are people who are actually poor, in poverty, can't seem to make ends meet, but yet they're doing all the right things. They're not out there robbing and stealing. They may be praying every day. They may be attending church every week or several times a week, but yet they're still suffering. So it's very complex. It's very, very complex. I have to agree with Bariam. So many questions that I have that will probably never be answered.
Okay, you make some very good points. This past week when I was in Chicago, I took a day, and I purposely went over to this one particular cemetery, and I was just walking through the cemetery, and and I noticed people were walking their dogs, or just walking through the cemetery, and whether or not they had people, um, you know that were residents there, so to speak, or not, I don't know. I didn't. And I started to walk through the various, tombstones, and it's an old cemetery, and I'm looking at some of the markers and what have you, and like Shy Lady says, you see these children, Some of them were only, on this earth or alive, for maybe a week or less. And I started to just wonder, what happened to them. And a lot of the children that I saw were mostly from the 1800s through the early 20th century. Some were early 1800s. And I know that, during that time, medicine wasn't like the way it is now, whatever. But, but it did get me thinking, you know, about luck versus fate. And even though I've had this topic for probably about 2 months, just walking through that cemetery really, made me want to do this topic, because I'm seeing, people, on their markers, some people were in World War One, some people were in the Civil War, and I'm just imagining, how they passed away and what have you. Then I kept thinking about luck versus fate. Was this child, even though they were fated to possibly die within a week, were they lucky to have great parents? Is it a double-edged sword? So those are things that I think about. If you guys ever, and not to be morbid or anything, but if you guys ever have an opportunity just to have a nice, peaceful walk where you are just have your own thoughts and you're not thinking about anything, take a walk through a cemetery. Very peaceful. Anyway, Chill, I'm passing the mic to you.
Yeah. So, I think Charlie kind of mentioned it about if someone is rich and they live a fruitful life, and then someone is poor that don't, and that's the ideal I'm trying to, I guess, delve into, because who's at the end of the day, who's the luckier person, or who's better off? Am I better off not being that rich person that's schemed to my way to the top? It may seem they be living an extravagant life, but is that's because we put, as people, we've put that on them. Hey, this is a better life. This is Gucci and this is a Gildan shirt. They can be the same thing. You change the name, it's worth $1,000. It's like so what's good, what's bad, what's negative, what's positive. It's a big question. Like, I don't know if that's is it a good thing that there's a person living a better life, or what's a better life technically? Is that a better life? So to get caught up and be that person.
But don't forget, Shy Lady also said on, I think, a show last week, where she said that some people are poor and they don't even know that they're poor, and they think that they have a wonderful life.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's people putting that on there, and I don't think the world, as the worldly aspects, they, whoever the creator is, he doesn't even look at it like that. As humans, we got to have compartmentalized things. We have to put in certain rules for things to make sense for us. You know what I'm saying? Things can make complete sense to whomever created it, because that's how it is, but it has to make sense to us. And so I think it's typically somewhere that lies in the middle that we may not understand. So or you don't have the level of consciousness to understand sometimes. And so it's confusing to us, and it's all a jumble to some degree. And I think it may be a hybrid of both somehow. I just can't figure. I haven't really thought about it or read up on it, or just really contemplated enough to even think about luck versus fate, because it's just and you go through your own battles, right? Like, if I was raised religiously to the people who who maybe aren't, and the yin and yang, the Buddhist or whatever, it's a different theoretical outlook on things that you have to take, and who's right or who's wrong.
So, okay, so we've talked about fate, we've talked about destiny, we've talked about luck. So, and Shy Lady, you touched on spirituality, excuse me. So does that play a part? And Bahram, I know you said that you don't necessarily like these terms, but these terms are out there. These are terms that people use every day. So does our spiritual self have anything to do with fate, destiny, or luck? Passing the mic to Bahram.
I
I'm
Um,
passing the mic to you because you were next. So
yeah, I did have something to say previous, and I'll finish off with a little bit on that one. But when I was listening more again on the religious side, I think when you talk about like people being born into rich families and poor families, I know the argument a lot against religion is that if when a baby dies or is stillborn, it's like, why is God doing this? What is that? And I found myself defending religion when I hear that, because it's like I see things like that and things like being born into a poor, abusive family is it is life. It's what life's about. We don't want it all rosy garden, fed with a silver spoon and having everything handed to you. So I see these trials and tribulations is what life's all about, and it will build character and make you the person that you end up becoming. So, well, and then what you've just said there. I know there's people who believe in spirituality and manifesting things. I think one of my close friends, he's all about mental health, and he's getting into that way of life and spirituality, and he strongly believes that you can manifest things if you consistently think about something happening. He makes jokes about it. He'll say, like, if we're both in the car and we're looking for a parking spot, he'll like put his hands to his head and he'll say, I'm manifesting us a parking space right now as we speak. There will be a car pulling out of a spot, and it's a laugh and a joke, but I know there are people who strongly believe that they can do that and they have the power to do it, whether it's true or not. I'm one of those people who has to see it before I believe it. And I know it's kind of a sad way to be in life, but it's just me, and that's my beliefs. So,
no,
yeah.
I mean there are a lot of people who, if I don't see it, then it didn't happen. I have to see it. But now, Bahram, you made me bring up something else, and I'll pass the mic so you can think about this. But now we're talking about miracles. What did I just do? I think I just kicked some of you guys off. I'm sorry. I think I just kicked some of you guys off. Didn't mean to do that.
Can you hear
Yes,
me still?
I can hear you. Didn't mean to. I have a mouse that's very sensitive. So, okay, you guys are back. Okay, so let's see, I lost Shy Lady. Let me bring her back on. Okay. There we go. Okay, Shy Lady, I don't see you. I'm sorry. Can you go out and come back? Oh, there you are. Okay, got you. Okay, so Shy Lady, what do you think?
Well, I think the last question you asked, I think you said, do you think something about it being spiritual or fate or something?
Is it all now? Is it just all the same thing? Like Balaram says, sometimes he has to see things first, but back, when Jesus walked the earth, there were miracles, so now do you believe in miracles?
Yeah, I still do. There's miracles going on today.
But you don't, okay, so you'll believe in a miracle over luck.
Yeah, there's people who were diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and told that they were going to only have 3 months to live. They lived 10 years. That's a miracle. If they go into the hospital and the doctors say one thing and see, oh wow, all your white blood cells are just about done. You know what I'm saying? And then or it goes into remission and never returns ever again. I've heard of many stories like that, plenty of them. And there's been people who were told after being in a car crash, you'll never walk again. But yet they walk and even run. So those, to me, those are miracles as
So
well.
is okay. So
I've
is
heard of
it a
people.
miracle or is it fate? Were you fated to walk again? Were you fated to beat cancer? Is that are those miracles or is that fate?
They're both, because because I believe God is a miracle worker,
Okay.
and I believe God determines our fate. I believe that man can't make miracles. I believe God is the one who determines miracles. I've heard of people being in airplanes and falling, 20,000 feet from the sky and surviving. That's a miracle.
Okay. Okay. Chill. Is he there or did I permanently kick him off when I? Oh, he's here. Chill, if you can hear me, you may have to go out and come back in. But I see you are on here. So are you there? Are you there? Nope, I don't think so. Yeah, he had to go out and come back in.
Yeah, to go out,
Okay,
come back.
yeah, okay, there you are, Chill. So, what do you think about what Shiley and Balram says and this whole miracles versus fate? I mean, what do you think? Do you believe in miracles?
I mean, sometimes you go look at miracles and they're, the test was wrong. I would say, I thought, well, you know what? I was looking at Joe's test, Joe's white blood cells test. You know what I'm saying? I thought I seen a ghost, but really it was it was really, my little brother going to get a cookie who didn't want to get in trouble, who never told me that he was sneaking up and down the stairs. True story. And I thought I see a shadow of a ghost, but it really wasn't. So in my whole life, I went 30, 40 years thinking it's a ghost. Ghosts are real. So it's you can call it miracles. It could be a perfectly scientific explanation for it, though. And then we don't know that. So we don't know what we don't know. And so, yeah, sure, you can call it a miracle, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you call it luck, but man, it's all subjective either way. These are wordings that are subjective.
They are. They are.
Yeah, it's just not I think it's a moot point to some degree because it's going to have different definitions for everything, and that's the hard part.
Okay. And just so you know, I actually believe in ghosts. I do believe there is a such thing as ghosts and spirits. So, Crucible Man, welcome. You want to add something to the conversation?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, I agree with Will. They are kind of shades of the same color, and depending on maybe what your religious beliefs are, you may tilt more towards miracle than luck. But they're all shades of the same color, and I believe it is very subjective. But Shy Lady said something that I pretty much agree with, but I've got a little bit of a hair to split. I believe God determines our fate largely, but let's just say, but I also believe we as humans have a pretty big hand in determining our fate. So let's just take an example where somebody mismanages their finances over a period of time, and they make one poor decision after the next in spite of getting advice to the contrary. And over the course of time, they get into a position where, they're going to lose their house, or they're going to lose their spouse, or they're going to do something catastrophic is going to happen to them. And somebody will say, well, when you did this and this, you pretty much sealed your fate. Or that's going to seal your fate. So we as humans, we make decisions all the time that determine outcomes. Is that God orchestrating us to make those decisions to determine, so he can determine our fate? Or are we independent of God sometimes, and in spite of advice to the contrary, we do things that are going to, quote unquote, seal our fate? Was that God, or was that our poor decisions?
That's an interesting point. But Bahram, passing the mic to you. What do you have to say to that? Or to what Shy Lady or Chill said?
Yeah, I'm sitting here laughing because I'm kind of convincing myself. I think more with the word miracle and what Shy Lady said, when she mentioned about people with stage 4 cancer, and the ones I've heard, in my time of going to church when I was in my early 20s, I heard stories about like people praying for people that were bound to a wheelchair and they were able to stand up through the power of prayer, and blind people that were then able to see. I've heard these stories firsthand from people who have seen it with their eyes, not my eyes, but secondhand then. And it's kind of brought me back to thinking like the stuff that I talk about in my show. I do believe that there are rituals that can be done. And when you think of a prayer like a ritual, which it is, when you pray on your hands and knees at night before you get into your bed, and you're praying for some good to happen to someone, at the same time, there are evil people in the world, or people who follow, Satanism and all that, and they're obviously doing their ritual, which is, I don't know what it's called. It's not prayer, but it's, they're hoping for bad things, bad energy. And I do think that the power of energy can, if done right and under the right circumstances, or with a number of people behind that movement and that energy, that things can happen. I'm quite sure of it. And I know through my research and all this stuff that is something that the people of the world, like the people who really run the world, do rely on a lot, that energy. So I'm starting to, convince myself that there is something, which is quite funny because I'm dead against all this stuff. But I think it is more, miracles, not so much fate or luck. I think it's more like miracles and things happening than, yeah.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
All right. Shy Lady?
I want to say that I know Crucible Man had mentioned like an example of someone who made bad choices with their finances and had been warned that you seal your fate or whatever by the choices you make. And I agree. There's probably a lot of people that have done that, but I also can't help but be reminded because I do read the Bible, but there's some things in the Bible that always have disturbed me. And this one particular chapter in the Bible, I think it's in Matthew, might be in Matthew, but it talks about John the Baptist. And I read it recently. It always disturbed me that John the Baptist was beheaded for something that he didn't do, because King Herod's daughter asked for his head on a plate. She got mad about, I forget what it was that angered her about John the Baptist, and he didn't want to do it. The king didn't want to do it, but he said, he told her, he said, you could have what, I think it was her birthday or something. He said, whatever you want is yours. And she said, I want John the Baptist's head on a platter. And he knew that John the Baptist was a good man. He was a prophet. That always bothered me, that happened to John the Baptist. It hurts me so much that it had to happen. I understand, Jesus was crucified and it was for believers so that we can have everlasting life. He sacrificed himself for our sins. I understand that. John the Baptist was different to me. And then another story in the Bible that I always had a problem with was Job, how he lost his children. He went through so many things, and so many things happened to him physically. And that always bothered me, because he was never a person that did wrong, so to speak. But those are just my things. So I don't think it's necessarily have anything to do with sometimes the choices you make. Sometimes you could just be a decent human being and your fate has been determined. So that's all I would say. It's complex. It's complex.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just trying to get my head around, some of the things you said. And for King Herod, it wasn't his daughter; it was his wife. So it was his wife, and I do believe she was trying to seduce John the Baptist, and he would not do it. And she got, pissed off about that and bring me the head of John the Baptist, and that's how he ended up, being killed. But yeah, I mean, I know this is a complex subject, and I know that everything is relative depending upon how you take it. But it's interesting just to hear how everyone has different takes on everything, and everyone does. I mean, again, here are your opinion. Um, everyone thinks a different way, and I don't think anyone's wrong. I think everyone has a valid point. So with that, Chill, I'm gonna pass it on to you.
Yeah. So check 1, 2. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so Crucible Man says something in reference to, I think Charlotte mentioned it as well, about somebody in their finances. So if I'm somebody and if I'm an angry person, I think those things can be predetermined. If my lineage is if I'm tall, if I'm Caucasian, I'm black, those are things that are predetermined, right? So I think to some degree, or traits just like height, weight, look can be predetermined to some degree. You come out and you have an anger problem, or you have or you may be more susceptible to gambling. It can still not necessarily, just because you're frivolous with spending, that same attribute can make you good and better in the moment, as far as reacting to the moment, being in the moment. Maybe playing in a football game or a basketball game, because you know how to gamble. You gamble a little bit better, and you make better decisions. So it's a trait. So once again, can you call that negative or positive? It can be negative, or it can be, you know what I'm saying, or it can be positive. It depends on how you look at it and how a person can hone in on it. Because a lot of people who may mess up on their finances, they may be great gamblers. They may be better than the next. Not to say they don't lose all the time, but they can win as well. And they know how to, like I said, be better under pressure situations. So I think that, depending on your traits, maybe you are predetermined to make certain decisions. You know what I'm saying? So that's always it's a rough subject, and it's nothing to be scoffed.
All right, passing the mic to Crucible Man. What do you have to say?
Well, I guess as Will was talking, I kind of got to thinking about predetermination, and that's a really, really good point. When my mother was alive, when something would happen to me, whether it was good or bad, she would say at some point, that was going to happen to you no matter what else took place in your life. It was as reliable as the color of your eyes. It was always going to happen. And I kind of took it with a grain of salt. But I'm wondering if there's a difference between luck and fate in things like predetermination or genetic type of things. I know several people, several families. It happened in my own family, where two people in the same family, one developed, I wouldn't call it a severe drinking problem, but was highly dependent on alcohol. And it led, as it does, to some poor decisions and some things that, did not go well, health issues, and it ended in a fairly early demise of my uncle, who I'm referring to. He'd passed away in his mid 60s. His brother, who's much older than him now, he just passed away recently, never took a drop of alcohol in his entire life. And we always used to say, how could that happen? I mean, I could understand one maybe developing a substance abuse problem or a drinking problem, and the other one also being a drinker, but not quite taking it that far. But you couldn't have found two more direct opposites. One drank probably every single day of his life, and the other one never took a drop. So was it my uncle who drank a lot? Was it bad luck? Was it fate? Was he always going to be a drunk? Was my other uncle always going to be a teetotaler? They grew up in the same environment. So you really get into a sticky kind of a thing with predetermination, luck, and fate. It could probably be all three, depending on your viewpoint.
Okay.
welcome, Crucible Man. Welcome to the.
Yes, Will, you're right, but you make some excellent points about subjectivity and predetermination, and I think there's all those things go into the pot.
Okay. I'm going to pass the mic to Saba. Are you on?
I'm
Okay.
here.
So, what do you have to say? And welcome.
Well, thank you. Sorry I'm late. Well, I guess I could just kind of sum it up quite simply in that luck really is subjective to fate. And I guess luck in itself is kind of a hindsight, in my opinion. And I think some people are predetermined to be lucky, some aren't. But really all it is a hindsight. You can look back and say, oh, that was lucky or that was unlucky. But fate in itself, I think, is what it is, basically, and that it could also be a hindsight. But we're all predetermined to do a lot of things, and that's apparent. Like, we're all gonna die, type of thing, you know. So fate is apparent, luck is hindsight, and I'll just leave it at that.
Luck is hindsight. See, I still agree with the definition that luck is chance. And I still come back to whether you're playing the numbers or you're at the slot machines or whatever. I still say luck is chance. But having said that, we are at the halfway mark past the hour, and I'm going to go around the room and give everyone their last words. So, Bahram, I'm going to start with you. Do you have any last words of wisdom you would like to impart?
No, I would just like to ask Sava, is that your words, or is that, like, if you read that, is that actually what it is? Because that was
came
really
straight
well
from my
put.
head.
Did it? Okay, because it sounded like, it sounded like that is what it is, and I don't could quite get on board with that. Kind of aligns with what I believe. But Tonight Show was very difficult for me. I'm really not good with these emotional, spiritual type feelings, and I need to get better at it. But I'm a very black and white person, and for me, these terms and phrases, although and I use them myself, so I'm not saying that you shouldn't use them. I'm just saying that I think they're more of a polite or nice way to say, oh, look at that, look what just happened, and because we don't have an answer for it, or because it's something that doesn't regularly happen, these terms and phrases fit nicely. So that's where I'll leave it at that.
What I was,
Okay,
what,
wait,
did I sound rude?
wait, Saba, hold on. Saba, I'm going to come to you next and let you give your last words, since you will mainly be answering what Bahram said. And Bahram, Saba wants to know, did she sound rude?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. I thought you were implying that I sounded a little bit cold
No,
there.
I actually thought that you'd read that, like that was actually what these things are, and it sounded really good. So I was like,
oh, thank you.
Is that something? Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's, I don't really have anything more to say.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, then I'm going to go to Shy Lady. I'm going to keep my thing around the room so I don't get off. So, Shy Lady, you have the mic.
Oh, I didn't have anything. Just saying that great topic, good discussion as always. Enjoy the show, and everybody make wise choices.
And Chill.
Hey, as a Saba, that is quite uh, respectable as a person. So you were unsure. Maybe initially you might have thought, like, you know what, is he coming at me? But you asked, and that's awesome, because that's what I try to do in my daily life. Because sometimes somebody can be giving you a compliment, you don't understand it, and you don't. I don't want to ruin the moment and make it something I'm not. It's not. So opposed to just kind of like, what I'm saying, hey, let me clarify that. That's an awesome trait in anybody. I want to commend you on that. So for me, I still come down to thinking this is a complex subject, and what is, me personally, if I win $1 million, would you say it's lucky, or would you say I'm unlucky?
I would say you were lucky.
But what if I end up, what if I have abuse, alcohol
Well, I mean,
abuse,
but
or
but
drug
okay, but then
problem?
that becomes a choice. If you're lucky that you won the money, but then it's up to you on how you're going to handle it.
But if I have an issue, you can't tell me just to change it in one
No,
day.
no,
And I
I
got all
mean,
this money.
no.
No, I'm not saying that you don't have your things you got to go through. But my point is, it could be unlucky for me at the time. The fact is, I am how I am, and I'm not. It's not going to change anytime soon, or maybe ever. It is what it is. Remember, so therefore, I may just be doomed. This may be so. It's all subjectivity, and it's just for me personally, it might be great, but for the next person, it might not necessarily be great. And so those are the things I think that we should all ask ourselves in general. What is good, what is great, what your great may not be someone else's great, and always keep that in mind when thinking and processing other people, because it helps. It at least help you, I think, especially when you get an understanding from them. It just helped me understand, so I won't be so mad. It just happened to me a lot. I have a lot of judgments, and I'd be mad or angry or whatever, or just don't understand things, and it's frustrated. I think that thought process helps me a little bit, and in my daily tasks, because just remember, like, hey, I might think I'm great, but other people might not. For the same reason I think I'm great, other people may think I'm just unlucky.
Well, Shy Lady says a lot of lottery winners tend to have worse issues, according to research, and wind up losing the money. And that is right. And I think it's mainly because, number one, they have a lot of people gimme, 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 but also, they just, with all that money, you have to be able to, you have to you have to be able to handle, you have to be able to know how to spend money, you have to know how to budget. You just can't go out and I want $1 million and you just
What?
start spending all of this money.
Yeah,
So
that's it too. But I didn't. I mean, that's another. I mean, that's another trait, and that's another realm I could delve into. But I was just thinking of like the principle of it, the theoretic part of it. It could have been anything. Like it just what some people may call what is rich, what is poor. You know what I'm saying? What is intelligent? You know what I'm saying? What's good, what's bad. That's a big thing, and I think, and so this conversation is subjective because we have our thoughts of what's negative, but over on the other side of the hemisphere, it may be completely opposite for what their take is, or from depending on household to household, right?
okay, all right. And before I pass the mic to Crucible Man, Saba, you want to know what about strippers? That was meant for Shy Lady. Last week we were talking about strippers, and when she just said everyone make wise decisions, and that was just me being sarcastic. So that was meant for Shy Lady. Crucible Man, you have the mic.
Yeah, when we think about luck, I think most people think about it in terms of happenstance or serendipity. There's a phrase called blind dumb luck. There's another phrase, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. It goes by luck is the residue of design. And what that simply means is we can't determine outcomes, but we can determine circumstances that determine outcomes. We can put ourselves in a position to where we can take advantage of quote unquote luck. So design simply means planning and taking the proper steps to put yourself in a position should favorable circumstances present themselves, you'll be in a position to capitalize. So I think we have more control over quote unquote luck and fate based on our preparation or lack of preparation. So I think it's easy to ascribe things we don't understand to luck. But if we retrace our steps, sometimes we can see that we did or didn't put ourselves in a position to take advantage of whatever fate or luck had in mind for us at that time. So I think our fingerprints are on the whole luck fate thing more than we think so.
Okay. And Petty Deb, I guess you will have the last word. So what would you like to say?
Let Mr. Petty Deb speak?
Yes, Mr. Petty Deb can speak. Welcome, Mr. Petty Deb.
How you doing
I
today?
am good. I am good. I'm glad you're taking the mic.
Excellent. Kind of on the fate thing, sometimes the way I kind of see it every now and then is when someone just kind of puts something blindly into another hand, whether it be, supernatural being or whatever like that. And basically they take their hands off. I'm gonna just leave it to fate, and whatever happens at that point just happens, and I'll go along with it. The luck thing is kind of by chance. It's kind of like with the gambling deal. You pull the hand on the slot machine, but nowadays you just push the button and the random number spot. That's kind of determined by the maker of the slot machine. So you basically, the chance of winning is left up to the machine and the coding that it has. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the both ends of it.
Okay, so Mr. Petty Deb, let's say we were playing poker. Okay, there's no machines, there's no one there to, push a button to make sure that somebody wins, somebody loses, or the house wins, the house loses, and we're playing poker. And you win every single hand. You're not cheating or anything. You're just a damn good poker player where I suck, or I'm just not as good as you. Is that your fate? Or is just my fate that I just can't win, and you're winning all night?
It kind of goes on the probability, because with the luck and the fate thing, you just can't put them all into one basket and saying it's just going to stay this one thing. Because with the poker, you are involved as a skilled poker. You can see the cards, you can determine how the hands will be played, and you're kind of filling off other players and things like that. With the machine, you're basically based upon how the designer designed that machine.
Okay, all right.
Say everything the other, because it will change depending on the circumstances that you're within. So, like we said, the poker game, you can somewhat determine your outcome in that game. You can just fold your hands and decide not to lose everything that you got, because you already realize that basically your probability of winning is very slim.
Okay.
And I think that's due to free will, because with games, you're the one that decides when to fold your hands. I believe. Oh, this is Petty Deb, not
No,
Mr.
I
Petty
know.
Deb.
I know who's who. Go ahead.
Okay, I believe that your final destiny has already been pre-planned from the day you're born. I believe that free will take you in many directions. Luck, I believe, is by some chance, by some probability. Luck, somewhere along the way, I believe that going back to computers, there's an algorithm to figure out luck. It's all mathematical. This is just me saying this.
Okay, now.
I
I have to say this because, or rather, I have to ask this because now I have 3 military people who are on this show. I know Chill is military, Petty Deb, you're military, and I know Mr. Petty Deb is also military. And if I'm overstepping, tell me to be quiet, and I will just move on. Being in the military, do you think that was fate? Do you think it was fate that you guys joined the military?
No, it was a choice. I made that choice.
Okay.
It was a choice. I made that choice. I didn't have nothing else to do. I mean, I had a choice between there, but I was trying to be a breakdown thug, and I was raggedy at it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I couldn't sell no drugs.
Okay.
Because I was raggedy.
Too much information. Okay. I got it. All right.
My bad. I know I am on
Okay.
video
Hold on.
somewhere.
Okay. I got it, Deb. Chill. Was that fate for you, or I mean, what do you think?
Man, this is a crazy. I can't really. I mean, I'm serious. Like, this is a crazy thought process, because you think the point is we all think we're making these choices, but technically, hey, if it was predetermined, it was predetermined. You're just gonna make that choice. So, especially in my situation, especially typically, you either go to the college if you got a good GPA, you, like she said, you hit the streets, or you go to the military. There's only 3 options really in the hood. So did we have a really choice? Like, I didn't have a GPA. I wasn't about to hit the streets because I thought that was, so it was really only one choice to be made, is to go to the military to get out of my mama's house, unless I just stayed up and didn't do nothing and just work at McDonald's. Anybody who wants more for themselves typically in this world don't want to do that, so unless they got to get somebody they living off of. But I didn't have that. So if you were privately poor, you typically would go to the military, or you in school to go to college. It's not really a lot of options, or you hit the streets. So I don't know. It might have been. Who knows? That's a good question. That's the problem. We think we're making these choices, but the fact is, it's predetermined. That's what it's predetermined is about. So
Okay.
we can argue that all day, though. We can just we could we could argue.
Okay. All right, guys. So I always try to have something to talk about. You guys always, everybody had their turn to talk, and everybody had an opinion. So I thank you very, very much. I mentioned it last week. I have not posted the show yet, but I will. I am having a Friday evening show, and I hope all of you all can join. I know it's going to be controversial, but I kind of want that evening crowd to chime in, because the evening crowd is a little different from the afternoon crowd. But it is going to be a tad bit. It may get a bit tense, but I am going to have a Friday show, and it will be 7 p.m. Pacific time. So that would be 9 p.m. Central and 10 p.m. Eastern time. So with that, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. Speak your truth, go where the wind takes you, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, and to Frankie and Juju, thank you for the pod beans. Thanks. Bye. Thank you, Chill. You always have something to say. Everybody always has something to say. And Bahram, you always say you don't have anything to say, but you end up saying something. So
Have a good day,
thank you,
everybody.
Jill.
Awesome day.
And Petty Deb, tell Mr. Petty Deb to sign up and get his own account.
Can we have some music with some cussing in it next time?
No, I do not. Jill, I know you are, because I am not a rap person. I'm pretty sure you probably figured that out.
Yeah, that's what I asked.
Yeah, I know. But I do like old school. I like rappers delight, stuff like that. But all that cursing, no, there's not gonna do it. Not on my show. Maybe Mimi can do that for you, or I don't know. Does Too Much Saucy have a show, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, do your thing. I like to give people a hard time.
I know. And by the way, I'm going to be dropping a message to you in Instagram probably in about an hour.
Okay, awesome. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Sorry, but I was just messing with her. I got plenty of cussing. I'm a DJ. I got plenty of cussing on my playlist. She's my Spotify.
Saba, don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
We're going to come in here and play our own intro music.
See? I'm trying to get jazzy and everything, and y'all.
Ain't nothing wrong. I hear the bass. I hear the bass. How about we can get some blues? Blues, I don't know. Blues. You like blues?
I love blues, and I'm talking about going back to the 30s, like Bessie Smith blues.
Oh,
I like that old school blues, where they talk about how my man left me, and I don't know what to do.
Absolutely. That's the good stuff. All right, Saba, cool. That'll work. And then y'all have a good day.
Chill, bye. Saba, you're encouraging him. Muddy Waters, love Muddy Waters. Oh, Saba's in here trying to start some shikita. That's okay. I'm still grooving to my music. Okay, y'all. And Frankie again, thank you so much, honey, for listening. All right. See you all tomorrow. Bye.